Where the fuck are all the other punk bands? The reason we speak out, we don't care if we lose fans, because when history's said and done, we want it known that Dropkick Murphys stood with the people, we stood with the workers. Okay?
Y'all, I fucking love this band Dropkick Murphys. And if you don't know who they are, I promise you will by the end of this video. Because not only did they just utterly humiliate a MAGA fan in the best way, and arguably pretty respectfully as well, as we'll see coming up, but if you are a fan of punk music, rock music, or just genuine good music and good cinema, by the way, as well, you may recognize them from one of their hit songs, Shipping Up to Boston, that was featured in the trailer for The Departed, the Martin Scorsese movie.
You will not ever know the identity of undercover people.
You have anyone in with Costello presently?
Maybe.
Do you know who I am?
Maybe not.
Right, and as if I couldn't love them anymore, what they did today was a chef's kiss interaction of the intersection between art and politics. Let me explain. Before we get to the rest of this Dropkick Murphys vs. MAGA wager that they posted on their own YouTube channel, that trust me, you won't want to miss, it is worth setting the stage a little bit because they have been outspoken against Trump and MAGA and the MAGA movement as a whole for a long time now. Take a look at this video from another concert that was shared by Brian Tyler Cohen where they called out Trump and MAGA Republicans.
If you were part of a union of working class people who were allowed to build a better life in the middle class in America, you listen to us. Because if you're out there buying those hats that these swindlers are selling at that fair, I'm sorry kids, I know there's kids here, then you're part of the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because you're being duped by the greatest swindler in the history of the world. You're being duped by a bunch of grifters and billionaires who don't give a shit about you or your family. They care about their tax breaks and the money they can put in their pocket. If you consider yourself a patriot and you're spouting off that election denying shit, I will fight your ass outside if you want to. Wake the f*** up! We're working class people! These people are the f*** rich, the billionaires, and they don't give a shit! Thank you for listening.
And folks, there is so much more where that came from. And I implore you to stick around to the end so I can share this incredible article with you called Of Politics and Pain, a conversation with Dropkick Murphys Al Barr. But first, as promised, take a look at this utter humiliation of this MAGA fan in their crowd in what they've titled Dropkick Murphys vs. MAGA Wager.
And it's all a fucking scam, guys, okay? I want to propose, in the name of decency and fairness, sir, I'd like to propose a friendly wager. You can't lose this wager. Would you, in the name of dialogue and discourse, and I appreciate you being here, would you agree to a friendly wager? He says sure. That's a good sport. Well, first of all, do you support American workers? Of course you do. Of course you do. Okay. So, and do you support American businesses? Obviously. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys are aware, because we don't go around fucking bragging about it, but Dropkick Murphys always sells proudly made in America merchandise only. And here's the bet I'd like to make. If you lose the bet, we switch shirts, okay? If you win the bet, I give you $100 and the shirts, right? That's why I said you can't lose, right? All right, Matt, can we get a little drum roll, please? This is fucking high drama here. American made, sir, could you both turn backwards? Don't worry, no one's gonna. He just needs to check your tags on your shirt and your hat. Just need to see where they're made. No, the MAGA shirt, Let's see where that's made. It's made in Nicaragua! So, no, he is a good sport. He's taking the shirt off. We're taking crime off the streets. God bless your fucking heart. That's a good sport. You get one proudly made in America Dropkick Murphys shirt.
And look, kudos kudos to that guy for being a good sport, but man, did they absolutely humiliate him in the best way, right? They were very polite, and they pointed out that, look, you're living in a fallacy world, right? You're believing this fantasy that Trump is for American workers or the working class, and yet here you are sporting a shirt made in Nicaragua and a hat made in China. And just so you know how legit these guys are, if you haven't already figured it out, this is a post from someone on Reddit who went to one of their concerts. He said, my local literally gave members tickets for their concert over this past weekend. The Dropkick Murphys donated the entire third floor to organized labor. They've been doing this at various shows across their tour. I saw members from the IBEW, and I saw various locals represented, members wearing their shirts. They're legit, dude. And someone else adding, they've been putting on for unions and the working class for decades, particularly in and around New England. They don't mince words, none of it is for show, and they're all solid guys. And that couldn't be better exemplified by this interview that they did for Listen Iowa, that if you allow me to read directly from for just a few passages, I promise will be worth your time, as I hope I've already proven, and I'll drop the link to the full thing down below. Of Politics and Pain, a conversation with Dropkick Murphys' Al Barr. Dropkick Murphys has a penchant for delivering blue-collar, pint-hoisting, Celtic punk rock in strikingly consistent fashion. They go on to describe their success and the songs about the working class. Eventually getting to these days, however, vocalist Al Barr, like millions in the US, has politics on his mind. In typical fashion, Barr was honest, blunt, and straightforward to the point in his discussion in a phone interview last spring. His words were stark, his tongue was sharp. Essentially, the Dropkick Murphys way. The interview asked, Dropkick Murphys has a long history of supporting working class and speaking out for causes. What was your take on the 2016 presidential election? With Barr responding, people were fed up with what's been happening in this country for the last 20 years. I'm not even talking about Democrat Party or Republican Party. I'm talking in general. What we've been getting is corporate and lobbyist politics. So you can take your party affiliation out of the conversation when you're listening to me talk. I believe we need to return to bad is bad and good is good. The way things have been going, it seems like the people in power are spending more time making sure the people that gave money to their campaigns are happy rather than doing what's right. The interviewer asks, so who was your candidate? Barr responds, I was a Bernie Sanders guy, and when Donald Trump won, I wasn't surprised at all. I remember early on listening to a nonpartisan person say that Bernie would win if he could get a foot forward, and Trump would win if he couldn't. And that's exactly what happened. And the final passage I'll read to you here is probably my favorite, because I think it exemplifies the punk, the rock. So the interview asked him, where does your political edge come from? And Barr kind of humbly responds, I really don't look at myself as an activist. I think that what we do as a band isn't that. You're coming to see Dropkick Murphys, not get political speeches and get moved. Our music speaks for itself and always has. You know that we're pro-union, we're anti-racism, we're backing the working man, and when you go to an anti-flag or Dead Kennedy show, that's their thing, and you expect that. We stand up for what we feel is right or wrong and always have. In this example, Barr was simply having a good time, and he met that MAGA fan on his level. He wasn't really poking fun at him for voting for Donald Trump, or he was actually pretty kind about the whole thing. He was just pointing out the logical fallacy in that man's support of Donald Trump. And he brilliantly proved the point to that man's face. And the guy got a free Dropkick Murphys shirt out of it. If that ain't the art of the deal, I don't know what is. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this video and watching that guy get humiliated in the best way. And if you weren't a Dropkick Murphys fan before, well, let me know in the comments if you are now. And while you're there, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to join the right side of the class war, that being for the working class. And for Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. I'm shipping up to Boston, and I'll see y'all in the next one.